as it was finalized in January of this year. The court continues to participate in education of the court with the public. Specifically, we participate in Municipal Court 101, which is a presentation for all new court employees through the Court Employee Orientation Program, where we discuss the role of the judiciary in reference to local government as well as court operations. The court also continues to use, in a greater degree, language line services for remote interpreting and remote and virtual court appearances through Zoom, Microsoft Teams, iPads, and phone. In reference to compliance, we've been quite busy fiscal year 2021. These are actually the minimum accounting standards. The triennial audit actually was conducted in August of 2021, and our operational review was conducted in fiscal year 2021 December. We are currently awaiting the final, preliminary on the operational review and final reports for our triennial audits from the Supreme Court. In reference to our capital improvements project, we began construction in 2020, and we successfully completed the court security standard project in the calendar year of 2021, and everything was done on time and within budget. In reference to the growth of the court is, I think, where we saw most of the movement. The completion and compliance, replacing the court's previous plea by mail process. The increased popularity of online platforms requires increased staffing to adequately accommodate this growth and maintain this valuable remote service. Currently, these 340 cases are being handled by our extremely skilled court administrator, Crystal Whalen, but I need her back. We need to work on a number of projects, and it's truly been a positive endeavor that we have embarked upon. The court does predict that the continued growth of the city as well as the growth of city departments will require additional court staff to accommodate the community's needs, particularly to man these online platforms. As the city of Goodyear explodes with growth, so too does the Goodyear Municipal Court. The court has engaged in earnest discussions with city management regarding the expected growth of the court in the next 3 years. Given the small waiting area that we have in our lobby, the increased caseloads, the foot traffic, limited seating, and of course the ever-changing pandemic rules and restrictions, the court is actively partnering with city management to create much needed modifications to our facility that will provide us with a bit more functionality as we continue to grow in the short term. And these are but a few examples of some important changes to court procedures that have enhanced compliance, as provided opportunities for court users to resolve their cases in a timely manner, as well as for the court to continue delivering fair, efficient, and timely justice to everyone every day. Looking ahead, we are still focused on administrative excellence in our operational improvements through the innovation of court practices. We have focused on 3 areas for fiscal year 2021, which is efficiency, innovation, and customer-oriented service. We are very excited about the remote appearances and what that has transformed our dockets into. Because of the pandemic, we have learned, as all of you have, to conduct business in a different way, and I am very proud to say that we are succeeding. We now conduct hearings telephonically via tech platforms where multiple parties can appear digitally, like we all do in those meetings that we participate in. And online dispute resolution and DocuSign have definitely had an impact, a positive one, in our court. We are accommodating growth, as mentioned before, in our earnest discussions with city management. We are hopefully slated to reconfigure some of our back offices here. We're going to be adding 1 office, 2 more cubicles, and a much needed restroom and larger break room for our staff. We provide convenience to our court users. We all get those text messages from our dentist. You have an appointment. We provide those as well. We provide them with the ability to access justice remotely, and we are having resounding popularity in those areas. We're very proud of that. Our future goal in reference to our video remote appearances for in-custody defendants has met a roadblock due to the pandemic and the logistics involved with having to quarantine in custody defendants. The project has been placed on an indeterminate pause. It's very difficult to try and quarantine and segregate jail populations for the use of these iPads. So until that improves, would the court be able to explore that further? We're very customer oriented. In order to satisfy our customers' needs, we provide a hands-on approach to assisting court users from arraignment to sentencing and beyond. The justice system can be very intimidating for those that have never participated in it. And we've heard this need. We deliver individual justice and procedural due process to every court users. And we have critical and candid conversations that allow us to understand them, for them to understand the court process and the court's expectation going forward. I'd like to share some photographs of our hardworking team here with you today. And before I open it up for questions, I'd like to ask my court administrator if she has any additional comments or anything that I have missed that she would like to highlight herself.
Thank you, Judge. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mayor Pizzillo. It's the first time I've sat in front of you under this new title. As the judge mentioned, she's spoken a lot about our activity, and we have been busy, just creating solutions for our customers to keep operations going. We're extremely proud of the work we've done in our court. The fact that our backlog is only where it is now, it speaks volumes to the amount of work that our team has continued to do at minimal levels. We've had days where it's Judge and I and a couple other team members, and we figure it out. There's been extreme adaptability on the team members that have been able to be present and put in work day after day. And on top of that, somehow we figured out time to bring back staff meetings. That was something we couldn't even pull off before because we didn't have really a whole team here. And so we've been working. I know prior times we've spoken with council, we've talked about how we've interacted with human resources. We've had our business partner present continuously in office. She actually has office hours here in the court. So she comes and visits and helps us really continue that conversation about culture and how to keep morale up, because we never closed during the pandemic, and it's been very stressful. It's a lot of work. We've incorporated readings with our team. We're all reading the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace, and we come back and talk and do conversations about that. We've incorporated quizzes to test each other on each other's workplace appreciation. And so we've really focused not only on keeping the court adaptable to the pandemic, but also focusing on our culture as well and trying to continue those conversations and ensure we don't lose sight of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do any of you have any comments or questions you would like to ask?
Any questions? Vice Mayor?
No, thank you. It looks like you're doing a lot of great work. I mean, it looks like the majority of yours have been, well, it definitely increase in traffic, and that might be from people going back to work physically partially, or maybe just the volume of people that are now living in Goodyear on top of that as well. But no, I appreciate all the work. The services you provide are very important to the city and to our citizens, especially the convenience of it right here in our city as well. So thank you for all. You're doing a lot of good things. So I appreciate it. Appreciate you becoming a high performing court. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Kamer? Whoops.
Oh, that's okay.
We recently had a meeting with the police operations, and we talked about their increased stats in DUIs and traffic, which then makes sense that it's rolling into your shop as well. So it's all good work. We need to have those things done. I'm really pleased about your community outreach, the things that you've been doing. I would be interested to know, I know it's hard with pandemic, but maybe what you envision in the future for expanding community outreach.
We have, sorry, Councilman Keno, we have discussed a number of options that we'd like to explore once we are readily able to have that contact again with the community. More so, the problem-solving community court is one of the most exciting projects that we are working very hard on. We want to continue because we have staff members. We've identified their areas of interest where we would like to develop young minds into exposing them to the legal system, to court careers. And so we'd like to be able to have them come and spend a shadow day here, have mock trials. The unfortunate part of all of this, because we are handcuffed to the ability of what we can do based on the ever-changing trends in the pandemic. But once that does stabilize, we see much more involvement with us having community come in and us going out to the community, and more so doing that once we establish our problem-solving community court.
Wonderful. Look forward to that being able to come to fruition. Crystal, thank you for talking about your HR partnership and the work that you've been doing there. I know that that's been a concern. And so I was also wondering about how your staff turnover is trending.
Thank you for the question. We just had a recent retirement, if you will, just on Friday, and then we've had a team member who left for personal reasons and has since applied to come back. So we're hoping, we like to see that. But we are not alone in the challenges to retain staff. I think I've heard the term the Great Resignation going on. And so we've just continued to partner with HR. We're conducting retention interviews with Human Resources in the coming weeks. So we really are just doing our best to understand and hear from our team and hope that they provide us with that valuable feedback.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think you've done a great job navigating the pandemic, keeping services going. I think the remote ability to provide services probably made it so much easier for the people that utilize the court. And so that you planned for that to continue even on.
Oh, no, we do, definitely. I think it's just one of those components that will not go away, but it will increase in popularity. We saw a surge, and it's amazing how people respond. Yes, it's very customer friendly. It does take a lot of work on our end to provide that convenience, but we have to be updated with our technologies and be able to promote that access as well. And so we're happily willing to continue having that grow.
Great. Thank you so much.
Councilmember Laura Callahan.
Thank you both very much, and thank your team, because you guys were open, and it's kind of been fits and starts where you'll start one day and think you're going to go forward and everything goes backwards. So I know it's been rough, and it's been rough on the team. So thank you for, we got to keep people's morale up because it's really hard. I have two questions. One about the community court. That's so great. I know we were going to get a navigator. How far along are we on that, or are we still in the getting things together, or what's going on?
Currently, we have finished the details regarding the consultant contract. This gentleman that will be our part-time court consultant, Mr. Paul Thomas, was the partner in crime for presiding Judge Tafoya in Mesa Municipal Court, who established the first community court. And so we're working with him in reference to that. We're very excited with the scope of his work and how he's going to assist us because of the increased activity we're having here in court to steer the beginnings of this project. And Crystal can speak more about the navigator.
Yes, thank you, Judge. So we just had Mr. Thomas in the office last week to continue discussing with him what his scope would look like. We wanted to go to a subject matter expert. That was the court that we visited and used as a part of our presentation to pilot this project with council. So we're really pleased that we have him available to us to come in. And we've also been participating in the meetings with city management and looking at the recent contract they have obtained with an organization for navigator type services for the city of Goodyear. And we're going to utilize Mr. Thomas to assist us with finding those best services. So because we don't want, that project needs to keep moving, and we are so busy as we are. I mean, some days Judge was up interpreting, helping to, we had no Spanish speaker. I mean, we've gotten to some of these points where we're so busy. So Mr. Thomas is going to be helping us with those contracts for navigator services.
Okay, great. And then my other question is, have you guys started back up with trials yet, or tried or not tried? Or, because I know different cities have done different phases. Where are we at, like, to try to get that moving?
For the community court?
No, just for regular trials. Have you guys started those up again yet?
Oh, no,
or-
we've never stopped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We never really did. We even had jury trials that were scheduled, but parties came to an agreement and they were resolved. But no, I think we have actually picked up an activity 2021 and what's just transpired of this year. We really never did stop.
We just had 4 bench trials scheduled last Thursday.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And thank your team for all the hard work working through this.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Campbell?
Thank you. Well, I have a couple of questions, and they may be repetitive, and if they are, I apologize. Do you have actual employees working at home, or are they all on site in your office?
They are all on site.
All right. I'm assuming the courts are governed differently than the city, and that's why you're having to do some of the things you're doing.
That's correct.
Okay, because I didn't want to misunderstand that. Okay. And the next question is, do you have an estimate of how many increased staff you're looking at?
Yes, we do. We actually have, and Crystal can correct me if I'm mistaken, in the figure, we're looking right now at the growth that we have for 4 new additional staff members, 3 to be placed in case processing, because we did open up and we piloted a double docket pilot for 7 months, from May through December. And the purpose of that is because we want to see if we have the resources to be able to man 2 dockets simultaneously when we eventually have an associate judge, which in the future we see that coming to fruition. We were unable to do so because the amount of work that is involved and the amount of staff that's required did not allow us, without creating a backlog of the same cases we were trying to get through our door, with a back portion of the processing of it. We love to be able to start doing this. We just need the staff, and that's why we're requesting, and we'll see, hopefully, if we are successful in our request, to have, of those 4 positions, 3 dedicated to case processing specifically, so that we can go ahead and run those courts, because we're experiencing extremely heavy dockets for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Just on one day we received, and not to say anything about the chief's extraordinary work with all of his officers, 182 e-citations only, without including anything else. So for those reasons, we really want to be able to have sufficient staff to be able to process more cases as more cases come in through our doors and the community's growth requires.
And I'm assuming that in your projection of these additional staff, you'll be able to house them in the quarters that you have by doing a little remodeling?
Yes,
or
that's
cubicles
the
or whatever you
discussions.
need to do?
Yes, ma'am. That's the discussions that we've been having with city management. We do have some offices here in the hallway. We'll need to repurpose, for example, someone that we can bring up to the level of Crystal's great skill in handling ODR. We need to train. It is not ideal to have staff outside of our purview here with our immediate supervisors, but we will fit our genie bottle to what we need to in order to accommodate the growth. And we have been working, we reviewed 3 different proposals, and we agreed with one that would best serve our needs for the next 3 years.
Okay. Do you have a backlog now, or are you all caught up?
No, we do have a slight backlog. That's where I mentioned
How
that
slight?
from 106% closure in 2020, 97%.
That's great.
So, but still, it's something that bothers me and bothers Crystal immensely. But again, it's all in combination with the increased filings, the foot traffic, the growth, the activities from city departments, and the new variant that we'll get from COVID, and those, issues that we have where staff has to have extended absences. So that kind of compounds the situation, but we will have this under control.
Okay, and you have had staff off with COVID and or family leave or whatever it is to do with COVID, just like we have?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I do notice that the domestic violence citations has gone up. And I'm thinking that the reason why it has gone up is because so many people have been working from home and they're not used to being at home with each other, and things escalate. And we're hoping that once everyone gets back to work, things will settle down for families as well as the courts.
We are hopeful as well. We've seen increases in domestic violence and DUIs, especially to the point where we've even discussed, will we need to open a specialty docket just to handle DUIs? There's a lot more activity, a lot more people are now coming out of their homes.
Sure.
We do expect this to taper off. We just are climbing right now. So,
Right.
But we can accommodate that. We just need a little more help to be able to do that with 2 courtrooms running at the same time.
I know.
We currently have Judge Brewer as retired Judge Brewer from Buckeye, serving as our civil traffic hearing officer. So that way I can do all order to show cause hearings the entire Mondays. She has the Monday mornings. She covers the civil traffic hearings. And we had been piloting that with that scenario just for that one day where we fell short. We just couldn't stretch our staff thinner, and we were beginning to experience that backlog. So we said, no, not now. And hopefully, if we're successful in our request, we'll be able to add more staff to assist us with that.
Okay. And I know you're aware that as council, we have asked and have complimented our police department for stepping up their traffic enforcement because we have so much more traffic on the road and people are speeding and driving like nuts. And we
yes.
appreciate them ticketing. Unfortunately, they all come through your courts probably. And also the DUIs were up, and that comes through your courts as well. And I know we're all trying to make the best of what's going on, and it's going to take all of us working together to be successful. But thank you for your report. We appreciate you giving us this update. I know we don't get to interact with you very often, but we do appreciate hearing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We all good? I appreciate the report. The only thing I would add is when it comes time to budget and we're looking at new positions, as a former budget person, I'm going to be looking at caseload growth over a period of time, cases processed per employee, and how that ties to any additional requests so that the numbers kind of match the growth in that. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're requesting. And I'll do that for any department that's requesting positions. So, and again, I appreciate the update. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
We have a regular meeting at, 6 p.m.? There being no further business to discuss, this meeting is adjourned.